Shalom. First, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kapadash. And this is a lesson on Jacob's trouble. I'm down here in the New Orleans area, and they're getting ready to deploy these troops to the streets for New Year's Eve and for Mardi Gras. So Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he's setting up martial law or getting you acclimated to troops on the street. All because he's getting ready to crash the U.S. economy, man, here in Babylon, aka America. And you people gonna riot and lose your minds out here. Once you realize you can't access your account, your money's gone. You so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are gonna flip out. They're gonna get your whole $50 out the bank, man. And Jake could crash out over $2, man. But the wicked elite, they know this, and they know you people are gonna do an uprising, and take up your arms and come at the U.S. government, because you're gonna have to realize that the old system is going away with cash, checks, and currency like that. It's gonna go straight digital. And so they're getting used to letting you see troops on the street, because eventually martial law is going to be declared, and it's going to be your ass, you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. But as you can see from the article, it says Pentagon deploys 350 troops to New Orleans through Mardi Gras. And the thing about it, they want to deploy more troops, but Trump only approved a certain amount. Hold on, so let me get this AC going. So yeah, let's get a little bit of this article. It says the Pentagon on Tuesday said it deployed 350 National Guard troops to New Orleans after the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, conducted an immigration operation in the city earlier this month. Because, they got so-called immigration raids going on down here, trying to get the so-called Latinos out of here, man, which are the Northern Kingdom. They're picking up a few heathens here and there, but they're not doing a whole lot. It's just optics, because they know eventually they're going to turn on you so-called Latinos and so-called Negroes, man. This is just getting the public used to, it's just smoke and mirrors with Esau, man. He has a bigger, objective behind this. He does psyops on the people, gauging people's opinion, or he say, I'm doing it for this, and he's doing it completely for something else, man. He always has a hidden agenda throughout whatever he does. So you gotta watch this damn devil, man. But it says the Pentagon on Tuesday said it deployed 350 National Guard troops to New Orleans after the Department of Homeland Security conducted an immigration operation in the city earlier this month. The soldiers are expected to remain in the Crescent City through Mardi Gras. These National Guard troops will support federal law enforcement partners, including the Department of Justice and the Department of Homeland Security, as they enforce federal law and counter high rates of violent crime in New Orleans and other metropolitan areas in Louisiana. Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell said in a statement. And that's AKA you so-called Negroes, man, because you're the poster child of crime in these cities, the so-called Negroes. So they got the ICE and Border Patrol and DHS for you so-called Latinos, and they got the National Guard troops, the troops on the street for you so-called Negroes. So they coming for both of the tribes, man. And us, man, the Lord, we've been telling you for buku years that this was gonna happen. But you just pissed it away, laugh, and now that time is here. And you think Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is here to save you. So we're gonna get some precepts on that, because I'm out here in this parking lot, you know, trying to get a lesson in real quick, man. But we're gonna go to good old Jeremiah 30. We're gonna go to Jeremiah 30:6. Ask ye now and see whether doth a man travail with child. Yeah, have you ever seen a man carry a child like pregnant? It says, where do I see every man with his hand on his loins as a woman in travail? Yeah, like a woman in labor. Have you ever seen a man carry a child and going through labor pains? No. It says with his hands on his loins, because he's going to be, you know, it's going to be all kind of fear in the streets. You're going to be paralyzed with fear. It says, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. It says, all faces turn into paleness. All you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans here in America, Babylon, your faces are going to be turned into paleness from the pure shock and terror that's going to be put on you by Yahweh Shem Yahushua when Jacob trouble come on, man. You're going to be scared to fucking death, man. You know, you're going to be so terrified, you're going to freeze, man. Ain't that right, Cliffy Pooh?